Right, I'm here with James today and we're off on another little adventure. So come with us and I'll show you around this unique place. So we're actually in a place called Flamborough, famous for being unique. It's the only place in Yorkshire with white cliffs. The only cliffs that are chalk in the area. But we're going from the south car park, which is pay and display. You need Me Permit for that, which is the East Yorkshire's app to pay with. You can pay by cash and card as well. But straight onto the path, and the first thing that we see is a magnetic sea mine from World War II. And then right next to that, an anchor. So already quite an unusual little pathway as we continue to have a look and see what else there is down here. Right, so we've come out of the car park now, realising we was heading in the wrong direction, and there's a road that's not allowed vehicles on apart from certain permitted ones, which we're walking down now to the beach. And let's see these wonderful cliffs. Right, so we've got to the bottom of this path, and right at the bottom is an RNLI shop, and obviously where the lifeboat goes from. If you're not from the UK, the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, is basically an organisation that runs lifeboats around everywhere in the UK coast. But this is what we've come to see, because you just don't get this in Yorkshire. Chalk, stone, cliffs. Walk out a bit. The sea is coming in slightly. We're not at low tide, but we're nowhere near high tide, so we're quite safe. And there, yeah, some of the white cliffs. As you can see, there's white stones absolutely everywhere. A little bit difficult to walk on, but never mind. Knowing me, I'll probably fall as I usually do. And you can see that the sea comes in this distance, but there is certainly a unique flavour to this place for Yorkshire. You just don't see white cliffs anywhere. Plenty of seaweed as well if you fancy that. Look at the lifeboat station. Flamborough Head is beautiful, but it's treacherous. Men from the RNLI have been launching here since 1871, saving lives. We're going to use the car in a bit to hit some of the highlights, but just look at those chalk cliffs. This is East Coast Secret Weapon. A fantastic place. And if you can see out to sea, right on the horizon, you probably won't see it on the camera, is massive waves. The rolling sea, the North Sea, and those white cliffs, stunning. You may even see a boat in the distance. I won't want to be out in there. That must be a good half mile away, and I can see waves that are huge. Not the place I'd want to be. We've now come to Flamborough Lighthouse, and it's quite an impressive little thing here. Built in 1806, this has always been a vital guide for ships in the area. You saw if you've been with us to Hornsey, how strong the North Sea can be in areas. Well, this is right on the North Sea and the eastmost point of Yorkshire. So if it hits here. You can see this is a current operating lighthouse. It is not derelict in any respect. Boy, is it big. And if we go to have a look at the coast itself, you can see more of the White Cliffs of Yorkshire, and how the sea just keeps battering it left, right and centre. But although this may be a very impressive lighthouse, it's not the only lighthouse. We'll come to that in a minute. In this area happened one of the most unusual battles of the American Civil War. Yeah, that's right, in Yorkshire. The Battle of Flamborough Head in 1779. On the 23rd of September 1779, under a bright moon, the Battle of Flamborough Head took place between an American Continental Navy ship squadron, led by John Paul Jones, aboard the Bonhomme Richard, and two British escort vessels, HMS Serapis and Countess of Scarborough, protecting a large merchant convoy. It was the Bonhomme Richard that initiated the conflict by engaging the Serapis in a violent gun battle. The more heavily armed Serapis made a British triumph look inevitable. However, it was John Paul Jones who claimed victory by lashing two ships together. After the chaotic battle, he then boarded the captured Serapis just before the Bonhomme Richard sank. Right, we're walking away from the lighthouse now, and we're going down to the actual head of Flamborough Head, which is a nature reserve. And you can see it's fairly barren around here because the sea batters it so much. But that means that the birds that nest in the cliffs around here haven't got predators everywhere. Makes it a fantastic place for them. Right on the headland is this building. I presume it's something more than just a place to live, because who'd want to live this close? But then you've got the Sea Watch Observatory. No doubt a very important place for people. And this, right on the edge of a cliff, not a good place to be, but this is called the Drinking Dinosaur. And you can sort of see where the idea comes from. But what it's best for is the seals. Just sat there enjoying the sea. And there's a little bit of a hidden cove here. But I won't want to be caught down here for too long. Look at those waves coming in. Not exactly a quiet spot. Now there is a second lighthouse, and it's a much older lighthouse. It was actually built in 1674, and although a very good idea at the time, they actually ran out of money building it, so it never ever got lit. It's believed that semaphore was used in 1792 from the tower to transmit messages during the Napoleonic Wars to the fort of Bridlington. This may be why the tower sometimes gets known as Beacon Tower. In 1894, Lloyd's Shipping Company recorded the tower as a telegraph station managed by the Coast Guards. In World War II, it was a lookout. The visitors have left marks on it, including quite a bit of graffiti. Local fishermen used to use it as a place to meet, to sort out their lobster and crab pots. And they believe, for the Battle of Flamborough Head, this was a point used for the ships that came to fight. But you can see it's weathered, It's old, and it's definitely a lighthouse. Just pity the lighthouse was never lit. And it's not that far from the other lighthouse. Literally a little walk down the road. Now, if you want to visit the lighthouse, you can do, but it's in a golf park, so duck. So now we've come to the most picturesque part of Flamborough, and that's North Landing. Place steeped with history that you probably wouldn't think of looking down there. So let's walk down and see what we can see. So it's quite a steep path down, and the wind's blowing quite nicely, but you can see all those little coves and caves. All those coves and caves were regularly used by smugglers. This was, if you like, smugglers' place to be. You've even got a burger place. Well, it's not open right now, but we are in autumn stroke winter time. And you can see here there's a very quick ramp down, and that's because emergency boats can be launched from here as well. But this place was used a lot for fishing for a simple reason. Because Yorkshire had what's called the Yorkshire cobles were specifically designed to be launched off flat coves like this. Not that I really want to go fishing in a place with waves that size coming in. But this place has a much, much darker secret behind it. So let's go a little bit deeper so we can see it. So now we're really coming up to the North Sea, as close as we've been today. It is blowing quite strongly. It's not a gale, but it's certainly strong winds. And you can see those waves coming in. But that's not why we've come down to look at this fantastic view. And in the summertime, this is a really gorgeous place to be. Not so much at this time of the year. But over there, you'll see caves. And they are dotted all around this harbour, little caves. These caves were smugglers' heaven. They would come down, drop off their wares in the caves, and then come back at night to collect them. And you can imagine, it's just that little bit of distance away from everywhere. You're not going to get many customs people going down what would have been just basic cliff faces like that now, like over there, to visit the smugglers' caves. So that's Flamborough Head. What do we think to that, James? Well, I personally think this is not a place for families. Unless you like beachcombing and very, very quiet places. However, it's right next to Bridlington, it's right next to Scarborough. So, for somewhere possibly a little bit cheaper to stay, that is right next to where everything's going on, it's fantastic. If you're an adult wanting to see something a bit more spectacular, you can't get much more spectacular than some of the waves hitting this place today. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little video of Flamborough and Flamborough Head area, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.